Hey everyone, I'm Mike from theparkprodigy.com, and on today's video, we're going to break down some of the most common things that we see ruin Universal Orlando vacations. And these are some of the most important, tips and tricks that we probably can give and, just to get you as prepared as possible and things to avoid as you plan your trip and then as you get down to Universal Orlando and you're ready for the fun. So if you are in the process of planning a Universal Orlando vacation, you're going to want to be sure to stick around to the end of this video, and I hope you do find this video very, very helpful. I'm really excited, so let's go get started. Thank you all again so much for checking out this video. Like I said, we are about to break down the things that can possibly ruin your Universal Orlando vacation if you don't know that they are coming. And as you could probably guess, these are just some of the most important things to understand going into your vacation. So we're going to jump right in. We're going to kind of start with what we kind of feel like we're very, very knowledgeable about here at the Park Prodigy, and that is theme park tickets. And we would say, do not buy your theme park tickets at the park gate. One of the easiest ways to kind of ruin the momentum and to slow down your day is to buy your park tickets at the gate. And this is important for a couple of reasons, right? First and foremost, if there's lines or if there's people also waiting to buy their park tickets, you're going to be stuck on a long line, and that's just going to eat up time that you could be spending inside of the parks. Number two is going to be, if you don't give any thought to your theme park tickets before you get to the park gate, you might not even be sure which theme park tickets that you need. And that brings us to tip number two, and that is buying the wrong tickets, right? When you're put on the spot like that and you're unsure about the terminology between both Disney and Universal Orlando for theme park tickets is ridiculous. Park hoppers, water park and more, park to park, 3 park, 2 park, it's absurd. And I do this for a living, and I know it's absurd. It's still confusing to me. So what I'm saying is, once you're in that spot and you're trying to figure out exactly like which park tickets you want, if you're unsure going into it, you might get the wrong tickets and then you might end up spending more money that you don't have to. Of course, the other important thing about Universal Orlando to understand is that you do need the park to park ticket in order to visit the Hogwarts Express, right? And then jumping back to those 2 park tickets, 2 parks means Islands of Adventure or Universal Studios Florida. 3 parks means Islands of Adventure, Universal Studios Florida, and Volcano Bay. And then, of course, we can't forget the express passes, things like early park admission, right? That's why, do yourself a favor, make sure that you decide which theme park tickets you're buying from. If you do need help with theme park tickets, just go to our website, theparkprodigy.com. We can help you pick out the right fit ticket for you and make sure that you don't ruin your Universal Orlando vacation. Okay, over to number 3, and we would say not doing your research. So if you want to make the most out of your vacation, and this is not just for the tickets, this is also for the rides and coming up with park plans, figuring out exactly where you want to eat, exactly how you want to tackle your days in the park. Make sure that you do a little research going into your trip. If you're watching this video, you're probably already doing the right thing, but just continue to do it. Make sure that you're as prepared as possible. Okay, moving over to number 4 of things we see ruining vacations, and that is not waking up early enough, specifically for early park admission. Now, the parks are almost the most crowded during midday, so that's why we always recommend to take advantage of those early morning hours, especially early park admission, for just getting that much more done during your trip. And you'll see, entering the park for early park admission, you guys could potentially get onto Hagrid's Magical Creatures, Motorbike Adventure, the Velocicoaster, or Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts over at Universal Studios Florida. So these are some of the most popular rides, so it does pay to get up early. Okay, moving over to number 5, and one of the things that I see all the time that could potentially ruin a Universal Orlando vacation, and that is not being aware of the water rides. This is especially true over at Islands of Adventure. So if you want to go onto every single ride over at Islands of Adventure, you will get soaked at some point in time. That's because there are 3 water rides, and again, like I said, there's no way to avoid them if you're trying to get everything done during your day. Okay, so we are about almost halfway through our list, and I just wanted to thank you all again so much for checking out this video. And if you are finding this video helpful to this point, and if you are in the process of planning a Universal Orlando vacation, just be sure to subscribe to our channel, as we have a lot more similar videos just like this coming out in the coming weeks. But back to our list, and the next one on the list would be waiting until the end of the day to ride your favorite ride or the ride you're most excited about. Now, as we mentioned earlier in this video, you do want to make sure that you prioritize which rides you want to go on the most. And if you look online, you can find a list of rides. And what we would say is, if you decide you really want to go on Hagrid's, or your kids are really looking forward to Jurassic World River Adventure, you want to make sure that you get on that ride as quickly as possible in the day. And just because we know that, nothing in life goes as planned, right? But this is especially true for a vacation. This is especially true for a theme park vacation, right? The ride might go down, it could start raining. There's always just these unforeseen things, and that's why we're saying, like, hey, just get it out of the way, and then everything will just go so much more smoother. And speaking of the inevitable, over to the next one, that is letting the rain ruin your day. Now again, there's sometimes just certain things that you can't avoid, right? And when visiting Central Florida, you definitely should be expecting it to rain at some point in time. But just because it rains doesn't mean that your day or night has to be over. Many times in Florida, the rain is just passing through. So if you stay in the parks, and you could still ride a lot of the indoor attractions, once it stops raining later in the day, you can get back to all of those outdoor rides. And the other cool thing is, if you do decide to stick it out, most guests will leave and go back to their hotel or just give up for the day. So if you decide to stick it out, more times than not, you'll actually have less crowds, at the end of it as well. Okay, the next thing that we do see ruin Universal Orlando vacations from time to time are some of the hidden charges. And of course, a big bummer on any trip could be unexpected expenses. And if you do want to see about all of the hidden charges here at Universal Orlando, we actually created an entire video on that we will leave a link to in the show notes for you to go check that out. But just be, this is part of being as prepared as possible and planning everything through. Just make sure that you do budget a little bit for those unforeseen expenses. Okay, and over to last but not least, overpacking. Now this is especially when packing your park bag, and if you're packed too much, you'll need to rent the locker for the day, and that will be another additional expense. Renting lockers is about $15 for the day at the time of the recording of this video. If you have a smaller bag though, it can fit in one of the free lockers outside of the attractions, and that's the thing that we're getting at, is a lot of the Universal Orlando rides do require you to put your bags into a locker before you get onto them. So if you can avoid overpacking, it will kind of help you avoid having to stop, go, continuing to put your bag into a locker. And again, it's just one of those ways that we'll see families just get that much more out of their day. But those are some of the most common ways that we do see, unfortunately, vacations get ruined. Maybe not ruined completely, right? But they can put a damper on your next Universal Orlando trip, and just some of the things that we want to make sure that you are aware about as you do start to plan and go into your next Universal Orlando vacation. I really appreciate everyone taking the time to check out this video. I do hope that you found this video helpful. And like I said, if you are in the process of planning a Universal Orlando trip and you do need a little additional help, just be sure to go check out our website, theparkprodigy.com. We have everything you need to be as prepared as possible for your next trip. Thank you all again so much. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.